Hey everybody, welcome to the Cucco Attack. This is episode 21, the last episode of 2020 that we plan on recording. I'm Chad Hembrock. With me as always is
Patrick Keys here.
And we are going to go down our top 5 games of 2020. We've got a new...
Not necessarily released in 2020, but just games we played this year.
Yeah, for sure. We've got some opinions on the whole Cyberpunk debacle. Since that game is finally out and not really living up to its expectations with most people.
It is spicy news right now.
As always, our current playlist, and then some quick reviews of the Game Awards and some other announcements from Nintendo. So, with that said, what have you been playing, Patrick?
I think our playlist is going to be fairly short this time.
You want me to go first?
'Cause... Go ahead.
I've played nothing but Everybody's Golf, and not even a lot of it. So majority of my time has been spent going to bed early and working. So I've gotten maybe 2 rounds of golf in a night if I feel up to it. And yeah.
To be fair, we're recording pretty shortly after our last podcast.
It's true.
So it hasn't been too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing new gaming wise.
No, not really. So that's it.
But all right, cool. So I'm still playing Fall Guys, but I will mention it right now because season 3 just started, and it is all winter themed, snow kind of new games and courses and costumes and stuff. I'm digging it so far. Like, I love how they keep coming up with new mechanics and making it slightly crazier every time there's a new season. So a lot of the new stuff is like these like giant fists that spring out and punch your guy out of nowhere, and they have like fans that blow you away and snowballs that get bigger, and
like that Wipeout TV show or MXE or something.
Yeah. And they have some really fun, interesting new games that they come up with. One is called Ski Fall. I'm not sure if that's a pun on skee ball or skyfall. It could be both. But essentially, you're like going down this ramp with like these 3 giant rings filled with like smaller holes inside of it, and you have to jump through the small holes to get points as you like head down the slope. And certain holes are worth more points and stuff, and if you fall off, you go back to the top, and so you have to keep like looping back and forth until you get like 15 points, or if too many people score ahead of you, then you're out of the round. So that's a really chaotic, fun game. And they had one course that's like this big mountain that you climb up, and it's just really fun just watching everyone like fly down the mountain.
I kind of want to pick it up just because I do enjoy watching you play it, and I think it'd be fun to play against you in matches and stuff. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if I want to spend the cash on it.
I feel like it's a little expensive, but it's definitely fun and entertaining. Yeah, I've been having fun with it, even as aggravating as it can be sometimes. But and speaking of snowy games, just today actually, as of we're recording 12/19, I streamed some of my favorite snowy moments within video games. I had a little technical difficulties during the stream, so it's split into 2 videos if you want to watch it now, but you can. It included Banjo-Kazooie Freeze Easy Peak, Metroid Prime's Fendora Drifts, and then I did it with Donkey Kong Country, the Gorilla Glacier, that whole world. So those are some of my favorite snow moments within video games. I also did a slight little tease of like my Animal Crossing town and its winter kind of themes that's going on. So if you haven't played Animal Crossing in a while, it's definitely fun right now. You should check it out.
No Mario 64 and throwing the penguin off the side of the.
I did not do that, but I feel like there's enough memorable snow moments in games. Maybe I'll have to do a second stream for I can do Mario 64 next time. That was a great one too.
Levels too we were talking about.
Yeah. So, but that was pretty fun. And then last but not least, which came out the same day as the Game Awards, and which will lead us pretty well into our next news topic, but picked up Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm pretty lukewarm to the game so far. I am enjoying it still. Like, the more I play it, the more, I'm having fun, but at the same time, it's definitely a lot of smoke and mirrors. Both in just being a technical mess in terms of bugs, and also just like a lot of the interactions of games that I feel are very shallow and don't really offer any depth to them. Like, it's very, very simplistic. It's not a deep RPG as everyone was thinking. It's pretty much, as we were describing, just sci-fi Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel based on the gameplay you've shared with me through PlayStation 5 share. Yeah.
What you've seen. Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was funny the first time you turned it on. Immediately it was animated Keanu Reeves banging some android. That was pretty interesting. Like, as soon as it started sharing, that scene happened, and
that's not what I intended to share with you, but that's just what happened.
That was pretty funny. So that was like my very first look at the game. I was like, well then, I see why everybody wants to play this game. But yeah, like, I don't know, just from watching your gameplay last night too, that was kind of my take on it. It's like,
yeah. I'm doing like a street race, and then I'm driving like 120 miles an hour into a wall. Boom.
And yeah, I mean, like, it's not GTA because it's like, it's not third person, at least in the scene you were in. Are you able to go third person, or is it just?
No, only when you're driving. You go like.
Yeah, so that feels like the difference to me. It's like first person GTA until you drive, but even then you have that option. But I haven't played it. I've only seen, what you've played. I really don't have an interest in it based on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. The story seemed interesting when I finally sat down and watched some trailers of the game. I thought it was, looked interesting, but yeah, it definitely seems more just like a Grand Theft Auto that takes place in some, dystopian future.
Yeah. Story-wise, it's like, it takes enough like left turns that is keeping my interest to just like see where the heck this is going next. But at the same time, I'm like, what the heck is going on? So often I'm like, I'm like, sure, whatever, let's go. I'm your guy. Let's do this mission. I don't know what's going on, but I'm here. Let's do it. And then I try to like stealth through a section for like 15 minutes, and one random person sees me. I'm like, oh, well, that's over. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, next. Yeah. So yeah, the game is kind of a mess, but it is also very pretty looking when it's not bugging out, and so and the music's pretty nice too. So it's like, it's such a contradiction. It has so much polish and like so much not polish. You can tell.
Grit.
Yeah. And I don't know if they're gonna really be able to fix it up. But yeah, I guess we should get into the news of this game.
Yeah. Like, so real quick before we do that, I guess like the opinions of the game seem to kind of be like, the reviews were high for the review, and we'll get into that. That was on the PC review.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, from what you're telling me, you're not really enjoying it. And I personally don't feel, you know, the need to get it based on my gameplay. But like some people are.
Personally, I don't feel as enamored from a game design perspective as others who reviewed it seem to be.
I mean, just from my look at it, like, I don't feel like it doesn't look like it's anything groundbreaking and amazing that everyone's kind of making it out to be. Like, it's just a massive game. I don't know if it's just like people need to feel justified for spending their $60, so they're gonna say it's amazing. But
I think the game had very high expectations to be this grandiose game, and it's definitely not that. Like, if you can accept that is not that, then I feel like people enjoy it. But it's not breaking any new ground or anything. It's just a very ordinary game.
Yeah. And I mean, that's cool. You know, if people enjoy it, that's fine. You're allowed to enjoy games. But yeah, that's just kind of my feeling on it. It was like, okay, what's so great about it? I mean, again, I haven't played it, but from the little bit I've seen and from what people have talked about, it just doesn't seem like it's any different than any other, you know, action adventure or, you know, action shooter open world
sandbox
so,
type of game. Yeah. I don't know. And then there are like so many of the elements in the game, like I feel like other games have done it better. Like if you pick it apart and stuff. Like I know this is a weird example that I had the other day, but playing Metroid Prime, I know two completely different games, but scanning in Metroid Prime is so satisfying. It is so like visually pleasing and just like simplistic, but like straight to the point. And I just love scanning in Metroid Prime, and it makes me think of like how ugly Cyberpunk scanning system is, where there's just like a million things highlighted in green, and all the actions on them are like, I don't care about any of this. This is just too much tiny text puking all over my face. I just don't know what's going on. That's why I barely ever scan.
Yeah.
So
like, it almost seems like most of the people that I know that are really like clamoring about the game, like, oh, this is the best game ever, it's the people that have like, you know, the highest end PC possible, and really the first thing they say is like, the game's gorgeous. And it's like that kind of brings me back to the whole like, okay, just because a game looks good doesn't mean it's amazing. You know, just because it looks that's great. if it looks you know, really good, then that's cool. But I don't know, I feel like, you know, people kind of get lost in that, like, the graphics. You know, the graphics are amazing. But I guess with that we can jump into the news now. So really the game's broken. It
is, and as we mentioned with the high reviews earlier, how reviewers are only getting PC copies to review the game.
Ridiculous.
We're not getting any console versions, and we're like, CD Projekt Red was saying if any people are playing the PlayStation version, you are not allowed to show any footage of it until it releases.
Yeah.
And now we can see why it was broken beyond all belief. More so on the last generation of systems.
Even the pros too, like the pro level consoles, the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro were still like, it's better, but it still has issues.
And not to say that my PlayStation 5 isn't crashing at least once a night. So, but at least I guess textures load. So.
Yeah. So I mean, even people on PC are like, I saw a thing on Twitter earlier where the guy was like, let's go for a drive in Cyberpunk, and he's driving his car down a straight open road, and all of a sudden it goes boom, and it flies up in the air, hits a building, and it's upside down in the middle of the street. And the guy's like, I did not cut this video. This is on a PC. So there are a lot of, you know, bugs that people are running into. I think the craziest stuff is like you said, the texture's not loading. So like people are like it's like no face, and like buildings aren't loading, and
64 almost. Just like,
it does. It looks like the N64, like the bad guys, like with their block hands and they don't move and stuff. It's really weird looking. And it's unacceptable, man. Like, this game was rushed.
Just wonky animations, and the first 5 minutes I played this game, I took my car to the garage, and two people who clearly looked like they were sitting on a porch, or not on the porch, they were sitting just in the middle of the road in midair, and I'm like trying to drive around them, and I tap one of them, and all of a sudden everyone's like yelling at me, and you're like, combat zone. I'm like, well, you shouldn't be in the middle of the street. You're clearly not supposed to be here. This is so stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Like, they should have like just delayed the game, but people, they're trying to get that holiday rush out right before.
Yeah. Or just release the PC version.
Just do it on, just release, even like the PS5 version seems to be okay enough, I guess, where it's like at least.
I mean, technically it's PS4.
Well, that's what I mean, though. Like playing on your console works, but yeah, they should have done some sort of delay because now they're, we're at the point now where Sony has pulled the game from their shelves, like from their digital store, because of. Because
the CD Projekt Red, when people were like asking about refunds and stuff, they were like, talk to Microsoft and Sony, they'll refund you. And then Sony was like, what?
And they did the same thing. They told you to work with the big box retailers too if you bought it like physically. So
yeah,
it's pretty nuts. Like,
and that I feel like that's why Sony is getting a little mad here. They're like, all right, we're gonna refund, and no one else is allowed to buy your game anymore on our digital store.
I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, you don't want to deal with that. It's they have to have some sort of standard of quality to go off of. They can't have something like this happen. And it's bad. Like, I don't know. I can't even think of like another game. Like, the only game that would be close to this would be like No Man's Sky, but they've at least like, patched all that stuff in. And that game, even though it like, from what I remember, that game still worked. It just wasn't what everyone expected it to be. This is literally like game breaking. Like you said, textures aren't loading. People are not in the places they're supposed to be. Like, there was like no QA into this like game release. They knew it was there and didn't care. And at a minimum, they should have delayed the console version. Like, it's nuts.
It's crazy. Yeah, and they're gonna have such an uphill battle now to like not only regain customer trust, but to like get this in a working state so they can continue marketing future content for this. Otherwise, they've just wasted like 8 years of development.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. 8 years, and this is what you can like. How do you start developing a game in 2012 and it doesn't run on the console it was developed for? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, they obviously developed this on PC and then just use some. Like, I assume there's like what, like maybe I don't know
on the keyboard. Press PlayStation.
That's like I'm thinking like, what do they have, like Unity or something, and they just check it and tell it to use like a different platform. I mean, that's the thing though. These consoles are all x86 architecture stuff, and it's all they're all PCs. They're all running the same chipsets. So it's like, if it doesn't have that power, it's not going to run properly. So. I don't know what the effort of porting something from PC to PlayStation is, but
clearly there is some effort to be had.
It's just that's the thing, is that like these games they did it on PC, didn't take into account the specs, and just like launched it. So like, that's an edit for you at no. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty nuts. I think it's kind of funny because when this game first got announced, or not first announced, but when the Game Awards showed off like Keanu, I was always like, if they're banking on a big star, the game's gonna suck. And that's kind of like, I started seeing gameplay of it, and I'm like,
You might have been on to something. Not that I distrust or dislike Keanu, but that is usually a tactic.
I feel like
for when a game's in the kind of having some. And
like honestly, like I might not have been the person that is in the now with like the current gen releases, but I don't even remember hearing about Cyberpunk 2077 until that E3, the one with Keanu, because I just no clue. I wasn't paying attention. But once I saw that, I was like, oh, a movie star signing on to a big game. Okay, and that can bring us into a VGA topic of Vin Diesel in Arc 2, which we'll talk about later. Like, yeah, that's gonna be a great game, I'm sure.
That was crazy. I don't even know.
Like, it's just the same thing. It's like, okay, why? Why do you need this? Like, anyway, I don't know, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know what else to say about Cyberpunk, but it's crazy.
It's nuts,
just crazy.
and I'm here for all the drama. I don't know. I don't have an investment in it, so it's just kind of sit back and watch. I kind of, at least you're somewhat enjoying your experience still. So, I mean,
yeah, I don't know if I'm playing it out of enjoyment or out of curiosity to see where it goes, but. I must be enjoying it enough to keep playing.
Hey, every time I've turned on my PlayStation this week, you've been on playing it, so.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I'd probably be enjoying Ghost of Tsushima more, but I'm like, well, might as well finish off the game that I probably won't enjoy as much and save something better for later.
No, I get that. I get that for sure. So. All right, well, I guess since that's that, we can talk about the other news from that day, which was the VGA Awards, which we briefly talked about on our last podcast.
Kind of hopes of what we'd see and our thoughts on the Game of the Year contenders.
Yeah, so I think the big winners there were Last of Us 2, of course, pretty much won all the categories it was in.
Pretty much everything.
You had Among Us win a few like indie game titles and
like multiplayer game.
You had,
which is funny because that game released 2 years ago, but it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. I guess if nobody knew about it.
Yeah, I'm happy at least that team got recognition, even if it's 2 years later, because they're such a small group of people. Like, kudos to them.
I actually had a buddy call me today I haven't talked to in a while. He was like, we should play Among Us, I've never played it. So I was like, yeah, maybe. And I was telling him that you've played it before a few times, and I was like, I'm sure we could get people to play if you want to. So
I'm always down to play if you want to try sometime.
Yeah, we might have to do that.
You can play for free on your mobile, or it's $5.
Yeah,
whatever.
$5. So but yeah, I mean, I think.
And you can play it on Switch now, which I guess is a later announcement. But
yeah, for sure. Then I guess the only other thing that I don't care about these awards things usually. Like, they don't, like, I'm not like, oh my god, they gotta win. But like, I think it was like an action game, and like Half-Life Alyx didn't win, and I was a little like, really? That game's awesome. Like, how did that not win? Like, the game is so good. But it did win. Half-Life Alyx did win Best VR Game, which made total sense because it was just amazing.
Yeah. If it was going to win one category,
it had to win that. Because if it didn't win that, I'd have been like, what? Like, Valve finally released a new Half-Life, and nobody, like, gave it even this little award? Come on. Like...
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised it wasn't nominated for more.
It was really, really, really good. But so that's just a quick run through on that. But they started the show off with the Smash Bros. Fighter Pack 2 third character or second character? This is third? This is the third character. Yeah. And we are getting Sephiroth. Which is pretty cool. I probably won't buy it just because, again, I haven't even really been playing Smash. I couldn't tell you the last time I actually sat down and played Smash, but I wasn't expecting Sephiroth.
It was not one anyone was really predicting.
Like, I don't know why, but like Final Fantasy VII characters just never were even on my radar for this game. I mean, yeah, I know Cloud's there, but like, I just haven't even thought about that. But then now that Sephiroth's there, now I'm like, ooh, Chrono. Can we frog? A bunch
I don't
of
know.
other things?
They've had a lot of square characters
Yeah.
now.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't have much to say. It's another sword fighter, which I know people were, upset about. And he's like the massive sword fighter.
So yeah, I think it's cool that Cloud has a rival now in Smash. So that's pretty cool. Because I kind of like every series kind of having more representation in that sense.
And it's another villain
good
too.
guy and a bad
Yeah.
guy.
So
Yeah.
we'll get more villains.
Plus, we'll have more Final Fantasy music. So we'll talk a little bit more about Sephiroth here in a second because the Sakurai presents.
Yeah, that's all you. I didn't watch it at all.
Okay.
So that's...
But to stay on track for the Game Awards
Sure.
announcements, they showed a few games also before that during the pre-show. I'm not sure if you caught any of these. One was called Shady, Part of Me.
I don't think I saw that.
I'm only mentioning it because you might find it interesting. It kind of looked cool, and it was also a shadow drop. It kind of looked like that. What's it called? Lost in Shadows, whatever that Wii game.
Oh yeah, that game was cool.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that mixed with Little Nightmares.
Okay.
Kind of a blend of light shadow play, but kind of with like a creepy-ish horror kind of game play.
Yeah, I think I missed that.
Yeah,
I caught a couple of like a few things from the pre-show, but yeah.
I mean, there wasn't too much, but I thought that one stood out to me. I thought that looked kind of cool. And the only reason I'm going to mention this next game is just because I thought it was funny, and it's called Century Age of Ashes. It's basically just dragons flying around shooting each other. You can kind of think like Panzer Dragoon or something.
That's what I thought it was when I saw it. I was like, it's like a new Panzer Dragoon, because I knew they just did the remake for that. So I was like, well, maybe they're making a new one.
Yeah. I saw like the chat comment feed scrolling down, and one person called it like Ace Combat Dragons. And I'm like, that is Ace Combat Dragons. And just thinking of it called something like that, it just made me giggle. So yeah. I wanted to mention. But yeah, after Sephiroth and the game shows got rolling, they had a lot more game announcements. Other than that, was kind of like it's this game's sequel, but not this game because we can't call it this game. For instance, there was Back for Blood, which is totally Left 4 Dead, even almost so in the name. But
I mean, it is the guys that created it, so
it's the same developers, so it's the same like concept. You got 4 people working together with their witty banter and fighting like special zombies as they mow down hordes of zombies.
I will say, as soon as I saw it, I was like, ooh, I want to play this. Just because I love Left 4 Dead. It's just like not so much like playing it by myself or with other people online, but playing with friends is where it's just a lot of fun.
I think this will be fun. I'm looking forward to probably picking it up with you, and we can play it this summer, coming summer.
Yeah, I'm totally down for that. There was a Perfect Dark new game
from one I forget what studio. It was one of Microsoft's new studios that's working on this. Not Rare this time, but someone else.
So that'd be interesting because like I know they did. Obviously the N64 Perfect Dark was like, everyone says, a lot of people say that's better than GoldenEye, but just GoldenEye was the iconic one.
Definitely has a fan base.
Yeah, and then I know they did Perfect Dark on, was it the 360? I think they did it on 360. They brought it back.
I think it was 360. It was called, Perfect Dark Zero or something?
Yeah, and then...
yeah, and I heard it wasn't as good as the original series, but it wasn't like a horrible game or anything.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this next one. I remember playing a little bit of it on 64. Me and my friend used to play it, but mostly we just kind of played through the first like office area, and like that was about as far as I got because he'd play it when he'd come over and then go home and take it with him because it's his. So I never had a 64 back then, so
I never played it, but I'm kind of curious to try it sometime because I don't know, everything like Rare did back in the golden age was like so good, so I'd be curious to try it.
So See, I'm just looking at this list here.
Yeah, there was another this game, not this game, called Callisto Protocol, and if it gave you Dead Space vibes, that's because it was made from the developers of Dead Space, and but it's not Dead Space. There was one game you probably, I don't know if you remember or saw it, but it was called Season. That looked really cool. That was probably the most interesting game to me that stood out from the whole game.
I saw it was like very like a cell shaded, quick little art.
The art style looked like Studio Ghibli or something. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm totally down for whatever this is. Even if I'm just riding a bike and recording dragonflies, I'm like, this sounds cool. I was like,
Patrick's into this. Immediately when I saw this. Just based on some of the like weird games that you've told me to play that I've never heard of before. That are always fun though. I mean, like Gardens Between and stuff like that. Just like those kind of, real artsy but like heartwarming games. Like it was a good game though. I did enjoy that. That's another game I beat this year too. It's another one.
Oh, was that this year also? Wow.
I don't know. Played.
Shout out to Gardens.
So many games played this year. And then that brings us to the Vin Diesel Arc 2 that we mentioned earlier in the podcast. Which, when I saw that, I was kind of like, "Is this Horizon?" And they're putting Vin Diesel in it. What the heck's going on here?
Well, as soon as I saw Vin Diesel, I was calling this like Groot of War. I was like, what is this?
And then like I saw people saying it was that he was like Turok, basically. It's like Turok the dinosaur hunter.
Yeah, and then the dinosaur came in. Yeah, it was giving that kind of vibe.
That's what I saw. This game I thought was pretty interesting though. It Takes Two.
Yeah, this is from that guy who's F the Oscars. And first off, he's like, they have a little interview with him before he shows the game, and he's wearing like a mocap suit and stuff.
And he's like
all right,
he's the most hyped dude like in the world. He's so
I do love his personality. He's really fun. But then when they start showing the game, and I'm like, it's all super like cartoony and animated. I'm like, this is not what I was expecting from you wearing a mocap.
And then he was like a book, and he's like, hey!
Yeah. Hello. Let me tell you my story. Like, okay.
It was pretty funny, but the game looks cool though. It's a total co-op platformer, like puzzle solving, and I don't know. I think it's
like it looks like it has a lot of fun ideas. It's not taking itself too seriously, and just it looks like a really fun game to play with someone. And they also mentioned that they're doing the same thing that they did with A Way Out, where if you buy one copy, you get a second copy free to give to a friend.
That's awesome.
So you can both play it, which I think that's
really
awesome.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. Honestly, I think that's pretty neat. It just, I don't know, it just looked fun, and I love co-op stuff, and it seems kind of like Portal in that sense, where you work together to solve these puzzles and progress through the world.
The world needs more co-op games,
absolutely.
For sure.
So co-op is so much more fun than just fighting your friends. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that has its place, but like I don't know, it's just so much more enjoyable to like work together than to like get angry at killing your friends.
Why'd you steal my star, you son of a...
Exactly. Because even in those co-op games, you can like have fun to the point where like in Portal 2 we were playing before, you can like launch somebody and then you can just like kill them. Like, and it's just
and then you just like wait.
Yeah. So it's just, you can still have that kind of fun where you can irritate the other person, but you're both laughing. So,
well, at least one person's
usually
laughing.
Love it.
Yeah. And then I guess the last announcement we'll mention, this is what they chose to end the Game Awards with. And
well, first it started zooming out and it was space.
Outer space. It was kind of vague and just like smoky. It kind of reminded me of a certain teaser trailer with just a number and a logo, and I'm like, could this be? Are we finally getting an update? It's not.
It was
Metroid.
Mass Effect. Mass Effect will return. Is that what it said, or something like that? Or will continue? Mass Effect will continue.
I'm like, okay. I guess you have enough of a fan base from the original, but like, why do you have to make this giant announcement that the series will continue after that bombshell of what was the last game called? Andromeda or something? Yeah.
So
I think if you're gonna say that series is continuing, you should show something with a little more good faith to reinstall. But okay, BioWare.
Yeah. So you want to go down the music performances that were there too?
Yeah, the only other thing I'd say that was fun about the Video Game Awards is they had some really fun musical performances. So if you didn't see them, I definitely recommend like looking them up. One of the music videos they kind of had, which I'm not sure if it was like a music video or it's going to be like a game or something, but it was called We Are OFK. I was jamming to that music.
Was
that was fun.
Was that the song they were playing right before the Game Awards started?
I think so, with like the palm trees and the band playing, and then they had those like little neon cats like dancing in the audience.
No, the one I saw, the band was in like a they were inside like an orchestra room, or like a recording room.
Oh, you're talking about what, that live performance of Persona 5?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I thought it was cool. I don't know, I enjoyed that. Yeah.
That was cool too. Yeah, I forgot to write that one down.
Okay,
that was fun.
I wasn't sure what this one was, so.
Yeah, this other one was like animated.
Gotcha.
So, but it was cool. We Are OFK is definitely cool. I might even use that music for our in between breaks. We'll see.
Spoilers.
Maybe we'll see. As long as it's not copyrighted, I have to think about that. Then Super Mario Brothers 35th anniversary, they did like a little concert with that. That was so much fun. They went through like the whole series. From like Mario Brothers to 64 to I think Galaxy to Odyssey.
Yeah, they skipped Sunshine, didn't they?
They did. I think it was just a time management thing. They probably could only fit so much.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. But then when they came back and did the Game of the Year.
They did a little like medley for each of the games nominated for Game of the Year, and
it was pretty funny.
It was cool.
Everything was like
first of all, like the nominations were so
dark.
Yeah, there were a large majority of dark, gritty kind of games for the year, except for one, which was Animal Crossing, probably the happiest go-lucky game you could think of. And so that whole musical performance that I was jamming to, but I was like, how are they going to transition to Animal Crossing? I want to see this. And surprisingly, they did it very well, and they made Animal Crossing seem pretty grand. It was cool.
It was just funny to me because, like, you've got like Doom where it's all like metal, and they've got like Hades where it's like all.
Yeah, I think it went from
Hades. It went from Hades to Animal Crossing, but even like Ghost of Tsushima is kind of like, it's got that kind of like Japanese vibe, but it's still like real heavy and hard. A lot of like hard strings and stuff, and and then Last of Us was like down with banjo, and and then it's like all flutes and like dee 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 dee. I don't know.
Animal Crossing sounds so epic.
Yeah, it sounded good.
I've never heard Animal Crossing sound so epic. I was like, bah, 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 bah.
Yeah, they did a good job like making it big, making it very big.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
It made me really wish that Animal Crossing had won, because it got me
would have been cool,
but
of course, Last of Us 2, like we kind of said, like again, I never played either the first one or that one, so kind of figured it would win though, just because the talk about it all year. So
yep, and just the kind of vibe the Game Awards tendencies to go for.
Yeah.
So.
Falling apart, was it already broken? Am I back at the start? Can I let all the hope in? It's the glow on my phone from a brand new
topics here.
We had an indie direct.
Yeah.
Indie direct when was that? Last week? I think it was last week. Or was it this week?
I think
it may have been
this week, man. I think it was like Monday or Tuesday.
Right. So
yeah.
yeah, everybody was hoping for some. We'll just get it out now, I guess. We're hoping for some Hollow Knight news or some sports story news.
The song was my hope, and I had so much, I thought, evidence leading towards it, but it did not come to fruition. Like, there was a tease of Edge magazine that seemed to be teasing at Silksong news for December, and their magazine.
Because it was a black orb.
Granted, it was a very vague tease, but I still believe that they're probably going to show Silksong.
That's like
apparently it was not in this indie
like
direct.
A purple and yellow chair in the back of Sakurai's office.
Also, the Team Cherry tweeted out about the indie direct. I was like, oh man, if they're tweeting about it, they probably have something they want to show. But no,
so it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But
let's get to what they did show.
Sure.
One of the big games that a lot of people seem excited for is, of course, Spelunky and Spelunky 2 are coming to Switch. So, if you've never played those games, they're pretty fun. They are, what's the term? Rogue-like?
Yeah. I've heard they're good. I've heard they're fun. I've never played them, though.
I say rogue-like instead of rogue-lite because you don't keep any progression if you die. You start all the way over, and it's just try again, different randomized dungeon. So it's very kind of brutal in that sense, but I guess your progression is knowledge and skill, kind of learning the traps and how the areas work.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're fun, and they seem like a great fit for the Switch. I think one game that you and me are very excited for to see was Cyber Shadow. We
totally forgot about that game.
Like, yeah, so did I.
Because I know they announced that game right when I was playing The Messenger, and I was like, do I really want to play another game like this?
Too many ninja games at the same time.
It looked great though. I was like, oh, it looks cool, and Yacht Club Games is making this, so they've done a awesome job with not Hollow Knight, Shovel Knight, and
the other night.
Yeah, the other night. Hollow Knight should be a guest knight in Shovel Knight. But
and vice versa.
Yeah. So yeah, Cyber Shadow though looks it just looks fun. It looks like an old NES game basically, but with the 16-bit kind of effects within that 8-bit environment. And I don't know, it looks cool. And now that I've kind of had a break from The Messenger, which I need to go finish the DLC, I never did. But I took such a long break between like the actual game and the DLC that I kind of lost all skills, so it's really tough to get back into. But now I think is a good time. It would be a good time to jump into Cyber Shadow when it comes out, and sit down and play it. So I am more excited now.
I think they gave her a release date too. I think it was pretty soon. Was it going to be like January or something?
I think so. I don't really remember, but I should probably look it up real quick. But
I'm pretty sure it was January, but we'll double check. But yeah, it just looks really polished, like that Yacht Club polished level that you see in like Shovel Knight and stuff, and it looks fun. It looks really good.
It's just 2021 is all I see real quick. Yeah, it's just next year.
Okay.
So no official dates yet. Oh wait, here we go. January 26, 2021.
Aha, excellent.
Okay. That's from Wikipedia for what it's worth.
Cool. I'm pretty sure that's right. That sounds right.
Okay. But yeah, it looks fun. I don't know. I mean, I'm a sucker for 16-bit games, especially when they're not just like. I feel like most indie games kind of go for that. So it's like, but this actually looks like a very polished, game from that era. So at least
it feels like it's paying respect and nostalgia, but also like trying enough new things that it seems very original.
And,
so.
and that's the way like The Messenger was. Like The Messenger was really cool. I don't know if did you ever end up playing The Messenger?
Not yet.
It's
no.
really good. Like I don't know, it's like the way they transition the levels. I mean, it's basically like Ninja Gaiden. It's like Ninja Gaiden with like Link to the Past elements, like Light World, Dark World, where your 16-bit world and your 8-bit world unlocks new paths as you move around, and like things disappear in the different world. It's really cool. Yeah,
almost a little Metroidvania-esque.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the sense that you get like power-ups and go through this overworld.
For sure. So, you know, I don't know if Cyber Shadow's like that, but just based on that initial look, this Cyber Shadow looks similar in the sense where you like, you know, you have your skills and your, you know, you're like cybernetic and you're going through like you're warping across things to.
This is the true Cyberpunk game we're waiting for.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks cool. It looks really cool. It's. I'll be interested to check it out for sure. So.
Yeah. So other games there were lots of other games. They had a lot of cat games for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Lots of bad cat puns.
There was one game that looked like a Untitled Goose Game, but it was cats. Or something.
Yeah.
I remember telling Patrick, I was like, Untitled Cat Game? I don't know. What is this? But it basically was like you're a cat and you were an ass. I don't remember what it was called. That's what it seemed like. You're just kind of like doing things around the house. But, yeah.
Just knocking stuff over.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Not for me.
I don't know. The only other game that really stood out to me was this game called Happy Game. And it
game got
by no means looked like a happy game.
It looked dark quick.
It looked horrifying, but in a very captivating, just like, I don't know, not quite Tim Burton, but like if Tim Burton was actually scary. And that's somewhat charming.
Yeah. I don't know. It looked interesting to me because it was like, all right, I'm in for this. This looks dark.
Yeah, and it's like a puzzle game and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued in puzzle games and unusual art styles.
At first,
perhaps
I thought it was like Goner or something, but then it had that kind of like claymation look to it. Like, I don't know, it was kind of like this mixture of like, I don't even know what to compare it to. It does like you said, like your Tim Burton style stuff is
almost, except even darker, I suppose.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
It's
I kind of want to pull it up again too. I need to see this.
Yeah. It's pretty.
It kind of gives me the vibes of who are the people who do those World of Goo and Little Inferno games.
I don't know who that is offhand.
Yeah, I forget the name of the company, but they have that kind of demented, very.
Kind of reminds me of some like older like Flash animation stuff I would have watched back in the day. Like, Nettle Hands,
Scissor Hands, and one. Or Salad Fingers.
Salad Fingers, yes. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yes. Oh, yes. Dude, that animation style, like, totally died with Flash. I'm kind of happy to see this come back.
Yeah. All that Flash stuff is, like, dead, like, in 2 days.
That's true.
Because December 21st, I believe, is... Or maybe it was 31st. Or 30, I don't know. Maybe that's when they're cutting Flash, but the Internet Archive is trying to back up all those .swf files so people can emulate them in a browser. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. They're converting everything to HTML5 so you can still watch them, which is pretty cool. Completely
Flash
off
will
topic.
never die.
Yeah. So I still have my old Flash video me and my buddy made that was like really short, but it took us all night to make it. All night, and it was like a minute long, if that. Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Like, the last game they ended with was which was not Silksong, but I guess some people are happy. It has enough of a following. It's Among Us. It's now on Switch, as we alluded to earlier. So you can pay $5 and play it on your Switch now. I'm not sure.
Is it $5 on Switch? I didn't even look.
It's $5 on Switch, yeah. I'm curious, like, how communication works. If it has voice chat or not, I don't know.
Probably through the Nintendo Voice Chat app. Yeah. I saw some people on the Facebook group were going to on the IGN Facebook group tonight. We're gonna play using Discord, and they were telling everybody, you know.
I mean, that's what we usually do with my friends playing it on computer.
Yeah,
so.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that's what I would do too, if anything. So.
Yeah, but I imagine it would be kind of poor to play if you didn't have any communication, like. Typing on the Switch would be awful.
Yeah.
So,
but the Nintendo Voice Chat app.
So yeah, that's all for the Indie Direct there.
Yeah.
But there were still more Nintendo presentations to be had too for that week.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
This week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of
loaded Nintendo week. So. Next on the agenda was Sakurai presenting Sephiroth. He spent a good 35 minutes talking about this. I caught most of it. I didn't watch it like full attention the whole time because I was on the phone and stuff. But it started right off the bat with the Mii fighters that are going to be announced along with Sephiroth, and with that, killing the dreams of a more rendered version of Geno. It hurts still. I felt really, really sure that, like all the other special Mii fighters we were getting, that we would get a special, like, deluxe Mii of Geno. Like, it would take so little extra effort to just, like, model a head. That's all he needs is, like, not a Mii head. And we'd be happy. Throw in Geno's Woods MIDI and we're set. But no, it's the same Mii fighter as was in Smash for Wii U.
I'm gonna make the meme of you, and it's gonna say, I can see when your heart breaks at the exact moment, and it's gonna be like, Geno.
I saw one funny post like after that. We didn't even mention the awesome trailer that Sephiroth had at the Game Awards. It was great how he like murdered Mario with his long sword. It was just
we should have
so
talked about that. That was pretty awesome. Like the shadow just shows Mario hanging by the sword, and he's hanging by the overalls.
Yeah. So the meme I saw of that was replace Mario with Geno, and just Sephiroth's like stabbing Geno. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It's so true. But the other Mii fighters were all, I think, Final Fantasy related. You're getting who's the machine gunner from Final Fantasy VII, Barrett, I think, Tifa, and Aerith. And then you're also getting the Chocobo hat. So, but yeah. As for like what Sephiroth looks like as a character, he definitely looks like OP for sure. He has such long reach with that sword. He's like as powerful as like every heavy character, but slightly faster than them. He has like all these like special counter moves with his B moves and stuff, and just yeah. I do not look forward to like playing online matches against him.
I think it's cool how they, I don't know, you go ahead since you watch this.
Go.
I was just gonna say, I thought it was pretty cool the way that they kind of early released him.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I didn't watch the Sakurai Presents, but I just saw people talking about it and showing that there's like a Sephiroth challenge that got unlocked if you had Battle Pass, or if you had the character pass or whatever.
Yeah. So basically, it was like a little event on the home screen that you could challenge Sephiroth early into like 3 different difficulty settings. And if you managed to beat him, you unlocked him a week ahead of when he was supposed to release. So you could start playing with him right away.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah. Since Sakurai was like describing him as a boss character anyway, so that was a fun way of kind of working that in. I thought that was cool as well. I think the coolest part is the fact that we now have more than 2 Final Fantasy music tracks.
That's what you're saying.
They are now, yeah, they're adding 9 additional tracks to Sephiroth. I think 4 or 5 of them are actually new remixes, which is really cool. And yeah, before we got on the Skype call here, I was actually listening to the music on just YouTube, and I only listened to 1 track, but I'm digging it. I'm almost tempted to pick up this character just for the music, so we'll see.
Then you can use your Nintendo Switch as an MP3 player.
One giant MP3 player.
Yeah. That's what they expect you to do with Mario as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Stage looked pretty cool too. It looked kind of crazy. It's like a floating stage that has like a super detailed like animated background. It almost looks like you're watching like a Final Fantasy movie in the background. It's like so crazy what's going on with like a meteor falling and just like end of the world stuff going on. I'm like, what the heck's going on back there? Looked pretty epic.
Yeah, I really need to play Final Fantasy VII Remake just to kind of get a feel for it. Which
you can mention how stupid it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually mention that now since we're talking about Sephiroth. I tried to play, so I never played the Final Fantasy VII Remake because I don't have PS4. So I was like, okay, I'll grab the demo and play it on my PS5. Well, I couldn't find it in the store, so I Googled it and I found it on the PlayStation Store, logged in, added it to my library, went back to my PS5. The game's there, but it's got a little circle with a line through it saying it's only available on PS4. So I cannot play the demo for the game, but I can buy the game. I just can't play the demo on the PS5, which is ridiculous. So part of me wants to like complain about it to Sony. Like, I doubt anything would come from it, but it's like, that doesn't help you guys. Like, why? Why can't I play a demo of a game? Like, I can buy the game, but I can't play the demo. It's kind of ridiculous. But
I just am baffled that that's even a restriction.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make
weird
sense
to me. I would understand if like the game didn't run on the PS5 or something, like obviously, but
I want them to update their list of 6 games that you can't play on PS5 to 7.
Absolutely. So yeah, I don't know. That was a little annoying because I just wanted to check it out and see what the what the battle style's like and everything. Because I haven't played a Final Fantasy game since 10. That was the last one I played, and I kind of got like halfway through it maybe, and I was just kind of like, I was in high school, and I think at that point I just started skateboarding all the time and stopped caring. So until like the GameCube and Zelda. That's usually when my gaming, like, I would not play games until like a new Zelda came out. Or Counter-Strike.
I do recall a lot of your console purchases usually had Zelda to do with it. So. But yeah, that's all for Sakurai and Sephiroth. And the last Nintendo Direct we had this week was not for games, but for a Nintendo theme park, the Nintendo World in Japan.
Super Nintendo World.
Super Nintendo. I mean, they should call it right now just Super Mario World, because right now it's just Mario. But but yeah, Miyamoto was on camera and gave us a little kind of tour through some of the sections, and it looks fun.
It looks cool for sure. Like the fact that it looks right out of the video game. like out of like
Yeah,
new Super
just
Mario Brothers. That's what it looks like it's out of, because it's got that, you know, that 3D aspect to it. But it looks really cool. I personally feel like it's gonna be a nightmare. Like, it's one of those things that like you're gonna want to go there like on a weekday and go there first. I mean, granted, this is in Japan only right now.
Yeah, it did look particularly small, but that might just be because of Japan.
They're supposed to.
I have hopes that maybe once it comes to Florida, that it would be larger.
So, like, the only thing I can really compare it to is like Universal in Florida with the like the Simpsons world that they did. Like, it's big. It's big enough where, like, you know, you walk around and they have all the different, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? Landmarks, like your big landmarks for throughout.
Iconic locations.
I'm sorry, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah, your iconic like landmarks throughout the city and stuff like that, and it's done really well, but it's pretty big. I mean, it's small, but it's like open enough where you can, you know, go, you know, get through it pretty quickly. But I feel like the Nintendo things, like the Simpsons, are huge, but I think video games are now like at that, you know, they kind of eclipse that, and I think people are gonna go nuts for Nintendo.
I feel like, with Nintendo, it definitely is gonna appeal to both kids and adults, more so than a way a lot of other attractions would probably only target one audience.
Yeah, I think it does look really cool. I think that, so like they have wristbands that you can wear that kind of like add a treasure hunt kind of, you know, activity mode to the park experience, which I think is pretty cool. I think you have to pay extra for those wristbands. I'm pretty sure, like, it's not like included in the park thing. I think you actually have to buy those to like enhance your experience. From what I'm pretty sure it's what I heard.
I'm going
absolutely
to have to.
Like, gonna do it. But
it's like buying a wand at Harry Potter
I bought
World,
one,
so you can start.
I bought one when I went because it was like, why not? I'm not even a huge Harry Potter fan, but I bought one because I was like, why not?
It was tempting. Cool. I bought a wand before they added those elements before, so I have a stick, but it doesn't actually interact with anything. Now I kind of want a new wand that actually.
Yeah. Now we both bought one. Vivi and I both got one, so we waited in line so long to go through all that stuff too. But it was cool though. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, you waited in the Ollivander line to have the wand choose you?
It was the wand shop. We went there and they did like the whole like experience, and then when you're done, it opens up and then you get the gift shop or whatever. You can just buy whatever wand you want. So yeah. Okay. Now at that point, I was like, I'm just gonna get the Harry Potter wand and be done with it. But anyway, yeah, so that's definitely something that I would get when this comes here. I think it's supposed to be in the US in like 3 years now. I think it got pushed back a lot because of COVID and everything. But you know, whatever. Hopefully, you know, we get to that point where we can go to theme parks again. and it does open.
Yeah.
So
honestly, I probably wouldn't feel comfortable until at least 2 years. So
we'll see. You know, I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out. But they showed like the inside of like Koopa's castle and stuff like that, and I'm excited for the ride.
Underground tunnel and Toad restaurant.
I'm excited for the ride. Like,
Food
they didn't,
good.
You know, the ride just sounds awesome. Like AR roller coaster that's like Mario Kart through Bowser's Castle. Like, that just sounds amazing.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm hoping it's not too crazy in the sense of like roller coaster sense.
I love crazy roller coasters.
That might be a limitation to me. But I imagine if it's a ride for kids as well, it probably will be tame enough.
It'll probably be something like Space Mountain or something like that. But, you know, I could see it maybe being obviously better than Space Mountain, which is now extremely dated.
Or maybe they'll have like different speed levels you can do. It could be like 150 cc.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. It's like I don't know. Like I love roller coasters, man. They're like some of my favorite things to do. Like I used to just go to theme parks and I just hit all the major roller coasters. Like the Six Flags here in DC. I would go on. I think I went on the Superman 13 times in a row because we went on like a Wednesday one day, like 1 week, and there was nobody there. So, and first of all, that's like going on anything at that park is like a death trap. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I've been on so many rides that have broken there, and it's kind of nerve-wracking because like that stuff does kind of freak me out a little bit. But the Superman is awesome. It's like one of the best rides they have there, and we went on that thing literally we just kept running it. We'd get off, run right back on it, and if there was no line, the guy would be like, "You want to go again?" Be like, "Let's go." And yeah, that ride's awesome. But yeah, like I don't care how intense it is. I'm in.
As much as I would love to, I have a tolerance level with my stomach.
Well, ever since I got like, you know, this whole head dizziness, the last time I went to a theme park, I went on, I think it was
I do remember you
I went on the
Verbolten about this
at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, and it's not even like a crazy ride, but like some of the G-force was like, I felt like I was like gonna pass out, and then
didn't you get sick at Universal too?
I got sick.
Like going through Simpsons World.
I got sick on the Harry Potter ride, the Harry Potter simulator, like the 3D castle thing,
Gringotts.
Like where you're playing Quidditch and stuff, and you're flying through, like it. Yep. Like
I was just about to say, right there is about the threshold of my tolerance. Like the Harry Potter castle ride made me sick. Gringotts did not. So it's like whatever that fine line is of how crazy those two rides were. And the thing was,
like, I don't know what was like going on that day, but like I just got real hot. Like while we were standing in line, I just started like feeling like real flush, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" And honestly, I think it was from drinking that damn butterbeer. And like even like,
so good though. Did you get the frozen one? Or...
And even the thought of it now makes me want to like vomit. Like I can taste it still, and because I got sick that day, like I actually because of that, we went home after that. We went to our hotel after that, and then I laid in the dark for like 3 hours, and then we went back at night because we had Halloween Horror Night tickets. And then when we got back to the park, as soon as we got through the gate, I went right to the bathroom and started throwing up again. I was so sick, dude. And then the next day, we had a 16-hour drive back home. It was awful. It was like the worst. It was like the worst time that we've ever had on like a vacation because I got so sick.
Now I feel bad bringing up this topic. How did we get on this?
We're talking about roller coasters and the intensity of the roller
coasters and Nintendo World. That's right. That's how we got on this whole train of thought.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway, tangent. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully in 2023 the world's a little normal and we can go to our.
I'll enjoy seeing more of it from what other people in Japan. I'm sure we'll shoot videos and stuff.
Yeah, we'll have some cool videos, and
because I think that's supposed to open
February.
Yeah. So yeah, that should be cool.
Really neat.
Yeah, to see.
And it'll be cooler like when there's more Nintendo representation. Like you said, like
for sure. Like I am dreaming of like Hyrule and like Donkey Kong minecart rides and all that kind of stuff.
There's so many worlds in Nintendo that it could be its own theme park. Not just like a subsection.
Did you see the blueprint design they had for Donkey Kong minecart ride?
So, no.
It looks so cool. I just showed like a piece of technology that they're considering, which was the people are in a minecart but they have a second minecart attached to it. Was it above or below? I think it was below or something. I'm not sure. But they're like riding parallel, attached to each other. So when it looks like the people on the cart are about to like run off the rails and stuff, the other cart is actually on the rail, so that it keeps them like attached to some ground. But it looks like you're about to like go off the rails as you're jumping.
It's pretty cool.
So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's
to simulate that kind of experience. Whoa!
Yeah, you have to do that real short jump too, because like that's that one that always gets you. Or you got to do the short jump and then you got a quick jump to get over. I remember I just played that like a month or two ago. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, so that should be cool. That should be really cool.
Somebody was saying that Universal should just cancel Harry Potter World and just make that all like Hyrule and
just turn it all Hyrule.
So let's get to the final topic of 2020, and that is top 5 games of the year played in 2020.
Yes, that way we can give some recognition to games. Not necessarily. I don't feel like we played many 2020 games
there really
per se.
weren't a lot of 2020
I think
games.
this is what we need. Yeah.
So I think a lot of people spent 2020 kind of fulfilling their backlog and stuff, and
yes, 2020 was a great year for diving into older games.
So should we start with our honorable mentions?
Yeah, let's give a few shout-outs first.
Let's do it. So yeah. I'll let you kick it off. Let's have you kick it off.
All right. Well, one shout-out I want to give would be to Fall Guys. It did not make my top 5, mainly because it is at times so fun and at other times so frustrating, but the times that are as fun, it deserves recognition.
You keep going back to it, so.
And I do. I keep playing it. I'm having fun with it, and I like to recognize a game that's doing something new and different with the concept of Battle Royale, like turn it into this kind of crazy platformer free-for-all. It's a very unique game, so I definitely want to give it some recognition for that.
Cool, yeah. So just to this isn't like, I didn't plan on this one, but since you brought that up, like Battle Royale, Mario 35 is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah?
You know, it's much easier than Tetris 99 in the sense that, you know, I was able to win at this, but it's basically just playing Mario. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was really, really a cool take on it, and you know, a good way to kind of spice up the original Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, it was definitely hilarious to me when I saw that screen you shared of like 500 Lakitus.
That was the
screen.
craziest video I ever had like happen.
It's going on.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that since you just brought up the whole Battle Royale in a different sense of thing. But I think my first one I'll mention is the Phoenix Wright games that we played. I really enjoyed those games a lot. They're visual novels to a point, but they have the puzzle solving elements of, you know, having to present the evidence. I just really enjoyed it. The story was fun. The personalities of the different characters you meet throughout the game were just fantastic. Like, I don't know, they all just everything fit so well.
You grow to love like every character in the game.
And like, and even if you know who's guilty, just learning the path to get to that guilty verdict is just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. Just sharing it with you guys through Discord and playing it and just talking about the game as we played it, and it was really fun. I was really glad to get into that series finally after hearing you talk about it, and looking forward to playing the third one, which we haven't played yet. So hopefully do that shortly, but I've been kind of in a gaming lull at the moment. So
once he finds that gaming motivation again.
Yeah. Maybe soon. Maybe if we just start playing it, it'll happen. So but what else you got?
All right. Let's see, I could come up with one or two more honorable mentions here. One I might give a shout out to is Ghost of Tsushima. The only reason I'm not ranking in the top 5 is I've not played enough of it. So, but the little bits that I did have impressed me for sure. I think the world looks awesome. I like the unique ways it kind of immerses you into the experience with very little UI and like using nature and stuff. I think that's really cool. So I think it's going to be a really fun game, but I definitely need to play more of it before I could give a full verdict on that.
So I've got 2, and I'll just quickly mention them. Mario Sunshine, I've always had like a love-hate relationship with, mostly hate. Hated the puzzle or the non-flood levels, hated the way Mario controlled. Never beat it. It's like one of the mainline Mario games I never just got into. Never wanted to play it all the way through because of how frustrating it was. The 3D All-Stars pack like forced me to play it, and well, it didn't force me, but it made it more accessible to being able to play it on Switch. And the controls were not inverted, which was great for me. Which is funny because I found myself inverting them all the time, just I guess from muscle memory from playing it, so that was kind of funny. But finally playing that game and beating it, once I realized what you had to do to beat it, because I was trying to beat everything when I was, when it first came out. I was just trying to beat every world as I went, instead of just doing the first 7 stars on each level and going from there. It was great to finally see the ending, do the boss battle. I mean, it was nothing that stood out like insane, but I did enjoy the game. Like, the more I played it, the more I got used to how Mario moved without being able to long jump, without being able to backflip. The water pack just it gives you that extra, like, it improves the platforming experience in that game.
You get like so used to it that like when you move on to another Mario game, and that's
what I was gonna get to. So like I went from 64 to Sunshine, and then from Sunshine to Galaxy, and when I got to Galaxy, I was like, I don't have Flood Pack anymore, and then I was like, I totally forgot I could long jump, totally forgot I could do any of that, and I just wasn't doing it. I was just like running around, and then I was like, oh wait, I can long jump again, and it was really difficult to remember those little things. But even after I beat the game, I kept wanting to play it, and then I was like, I'm never gonna 100% this game, and then I just went.
But maybe I can do this much. Maybe I can do.
Yeah.
This
so then
much.
I was like, well, I'll just get all.
The more and more I saw you play, I was like, yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna get like all the stars. So I get all the stars, and then I was like, but now I need all the coins to get the rest of the stars. And I was like, okay, so you can't get all the stars unless you're using a guide. I'm sorry, like it's just insane. So I used the guide to get the final, like the final, like probably 10 or 12 stars, however many I missed. But I enjoyed it. It was great to go through and play it, and I'll probably never go back to it. I don't see myself going back to play it again, but I'm glad that I stuck through it to 100% it. It was really cool. And then the last game I want to mention before getting into my top 5 for the year was I finally beat Earthbound from start to finish, which I've never done before. So I don't have much to say about it, honestly. I enjoyed it. The characters were, you know, everything you meet throughout the world as you go was a lot of fun. The game has a lot of charm. The humor in the game is great. I love the battle mechanics of that game. I always have. As you level up, you're able to, you know, the enemies run away from you, and you can, you know, basically auto kill and get that experience. The weapons are just dumb and funny, like shooting people with bottle rockets and using yo-yos and bats, and like it's just fun. It's just a fun game. You're riding like the Loch Ness monster to get to the other side of the lake. Just like real, I don't know. It's just fun. It's a fun game. I really did enjoy it. I actually forgot about it until we were talking about our top 5. I forgot that I beat it, but because it's just one of those games that I should have beaten so long ago. And like I remember renting it as a kid and still like never beating it. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention that game too. It was really, really good, and I'm glad that I finally played that. So
cool. Yeah. All right. Well, you named 3 shout-outs. I guess I'll give one more shout-out here. And no, it's fine. It's fine.
I played so many games this year.
You played a lot of games.
I never played a lot of games.
I guess I'll give one shout-out to Paper Mario Origami King.
It looked fun.
Because it ended up being better than I expected. It's still nowhere close to my favorite Paper Mario games, but I had a fun time playing that from start to finish. And as much as I wish it improved some of its flaws, like that game is absolutely gorgeous, really funny dialogue, and it was just a really fun world to explore. So definitely a step in the right direction. And yeah, not a bad game at all. It deserves a little bit of recognition here.
Yeah, I thought it looked a lot of fun, like watching you play it, especially like the puzzle solving elements, and you know, like you had like the sliding block puzzles and stuff like that. I was watching you do, and
yeah, it's more fun as a like adventure game than it is as a battle.
Yeah, the battling
system,
is what turned me off, but the actual like adventure part of the game looked great.
It's so good. It's so polished,
looks
so awesome.
Too.
It's
the
like
game looks so good.
I just want to trim out some of this stuff, get my scissors and folds, and like, all right, this is the game I want to.
Yeah, the battling completely turned me off from that, so I doubt I'll ever play it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So
maybe it's really cheap.
Yeah, maybe. But I guess that'll bring us into number 5.
Number 5.
So,
who's going first here?
I can go first since you just gave a honorable mention to your game. So
all right.
this year I watched Patrick play Origami King and decided that I was finally going to play Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64. So fired it up and had a little bit of trouble with the timing and the battle mechanics, but got used to that, and I loved that game. It was so much fun. Like, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I think
I remember when I saw, like, when you were sold on the game, like that first moment.
And I love like the humor of Grand Goomba?
What was it?
Yeah, Goompapa
or something.
when he just finished fixing the gate, and then the gate gets broken, and he gets so angry, nobody say gate again, and he leaves. Like, it's just stupid humor like that. The writing was great. I loved the battling wasn't that bad. Like, you could avoid a lot of it if you wanted to. but I did like the interactive battling where you had to hit A or hit the joystick a certain way. The story was great. The worlds that you go through on your, adventure. The managing your charms. What are they called? Badges. The badges was really cool to.
Yeah. Badge system's
the badge system was really cool. Getting your your health up or your damage up and your different types of attacks and I don't know. I just
okay, that's like a more complex and captivating customization system than Cyberpunk has. I'm just gonna say sorry.
I really enjoyed that game. I once you start unlocking the shortcuts too and the sewers to get to different places faster and then I started doing the star shard hunting as well and I just thought all the worlds were a lot of fun. All the battles were fun. You had the Ninja Turtle Koopas was a great reference. Yeah, the Koopa Bros.
Yeah,
and I don't know. It was really charming. It was a lot of fun. I'm kind of upset that I slept on it for so long because it was a good game, and I think if I would have played it back when it came out, I probably would have played Thousand Year Door by now, which I still have not. So I played the first.
You have something good waiting for you now, and
yeah,
now you
it's
know
true. It was a lot of fun though. I played that after Earthbound, I believe too. So I played two.
You were on an RPG
I was
kick.
2 20-hour or so RPGs back to back, and yeah, I really enjoyed it because I didn't have to do a lot. It was just kind of I could sit back and read the text, and didn't have to really get into any intense battles. But yeah, that game was a lot of fun, and I think that's gonna be my number 5 pick for the year. A game from 1999, right. I think, or was it 2001? I think is when that came out. It was late life N64.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there might be some older games still on our top 5, so. But yeah, moving on to my number 5 here is one that came out this year actually, and I think it might have some overlap with your list.
I'll just talk about it with you.
But my number 5 is Astro's Playroom.
So good.
For PS5. It was just so charming from start to finish. There's so many details in that game that just bring a smile to your face. It's just one giant love letter to nation, and just the amount of references is just so much fun. Not to mention the gameplay is super solid, even though it's very simple, just platforming, as you were saying, sunshine mechanics, jetpacking around.
And it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard, but it was still fun. It was still.
It's very inventive and imaginative, and kind of just trickling out fun ideas as you go along. Oh, here's something cool. All right, I'm gonna try this out. Hey, this is really cool. And the way it uses the new DualSense controller, so awesome. I love how you can almost feel the texture of things on your controller now, what surface ground you're walking on, be it metal or glass, or if you can feel the pitter patter of rain. It's just so cool. I love how the game was even just structured. They have 4 worlds, and they're each a different PlayStation system. That was such a smart idea. Collecting all the artifacts. There's so much love. I just wish it was longer, but I enjoyed every minute
for sure.
of it.
That was my number 4 pick. Was Astro's Playroom, and
all right.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I mean, that's
more.
what you said is it. I mean, the game is just it's just like you said, a love letter to Sony and for the PlayStation, and I just really enjoyed it to the point where I think it was last night or the night before I was I didn't know what to do, and I was like, I'm gonna load up Astro because I wanna feel the controller. I wanna experience that again real quick, and I just booted into the SSD level, just mostly to hear the music, but it was just so
I love
good.
music, so fun.
And yeah, like as soon as you even start that game up and it says Astro's Playroom, and like there's like a shine that goes across Playroom, and you feel you feel like the controller like as it goes across. It's so cool. I mean, it's just controller vibration. I mean, really what feels incredible is the triggers. The adaptive triggers are so cool. And they utilize that so well with the like the rocket ship. You really feel like how you're flying. It's really, really fun platforming game with just so many references to the PlayStation throughout the years. And like you said, I wish it was a little longer, but I really did enjoy that, especially as like the first thing into the next gen. It was like, there's nothing special about the game in the sense of like it being next gen, but the way that they incorporated it to show off that next gen controller and just, kind of show that this is where we were and this is where you are now, going throughout the life cycle of PlayStation, which is really cool. And it was,
I can't wait for more games to utilize it like they did.
And it really makes me want to get the PSVR so I can play the virtual reality Astrobots game now.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Well, I guess if that's your number 4, I'll jump into my number 4 next, which is kind of general, but I can talk more specifically about one game, but it's just Picross. Picross is my number 4. Discovering Picross this year is amazing. I love Picross.
I probably should have put that on my list too, because it is a lot of fun. I did enjoy it a lot.
I am addicted
and that's
to
all
Picross.
thanks to
It's
you.
just so relaxing to pick up, play a puzzle, put down. It just feels so satisfying, so rewarding. I really, between Picross S and Picross and Super Mario's Picross, I enjoy the humor of Mario's Picross more. It definitely has more charm and humor to the pictures and the little animations that they do. In regards to Picross S, it's more so just it has a lot of quality of life improvements, which make it nicer to play. Like, it's easier to view and like know what rows you should be tackling because they highlight the numbers and stuff. And so I like Picross S a lot for that, but I love the humor of Mario's Picross. It's just so much fun. I think that's what made me fall in love with it too.
I don't know if you've done this, but we have been using, like, even when, Vivi's been playing a lot of Mario's Picross, so I'm probably gonna, and she just finished it tonight, like 100%. Everything, like there's so many like special and ultra, like you beat special and then it unlocks ultra, and then after you beat that there's like extra levels that are tied into like the title screen of the game. It's really cool how much content is in this game that came out in like 95.
That's crazy.
I mean, she's been playing it for weeks at this point. Ever since I got the PS5, I pretty much gave her my Switch. She's been playing it every single night since. So
look at me. This is mine.
Pretty much. So I'm probably gonna pick up Picross S, and I'm looking forward to that as well. Just playing more of it. I haven't beaten it yet. I'm on like level 8 of Mario. I haven't even attempted Wario. I don't know if I will. She beat everything. So but yeah, the game it's a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to playing more of that. So I probably should have put that on my list too, but it's okay. I played a lot of games this year.
You're shouting it out now.
Hey, I get to talk about your games too.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hear your number 3 here.
Number 3, I have Spider-Man Remastered as number 3. I just recently played this. I've always wanted to play it since it came out. Not having a PS4, it's always been kind of like a pain point, and it almost made me. I almost bought a PS4. There was there was the Spider-Man bundle for like $200 on Black Friday, like last year. I think it was like 250.
Yeah, I think
and it
that's
came with
about
Spider-Man,
right. Yeah.
and I kind of slept on it for a while. I was like, should I get it? I don't know. And then I was like,
With like the PS5 so potentially close.
yeah,
You're
at that
like,
point we had no clue when the console was coming out, but it was still like,
Yeah.
rumored to be, 2020. But then I didn't do it. I just kind of put it off and was kind of hoping that maybe there'd be like a PC release or something, but obviously with being first party Sony, no. But it was available on PlayStation Now on PC, so I could have gotten it for a little bit, but I missed that window. But regardless, I've always wanted to play it. Spider-Man's like my favorite Marvel superhero. It was like one of the only comic books I read as a kid was Spider-Man, so I was really excited. So the first thing I did after Astro's Playroom was get Spider-Man Remastered. I actually bought the Miles Morales Ultra Edition, launch edition that came with that. So I played that, and while at first I thought it was a little weird, and I couldn't really get used to the battle mechanics, as soon as it clicked, the game was just amazing. Flying through New York City was awesome. It felt so good. There's no lag between anything. There's no loading going into anything in the game.
That's just my favorite part of that game. Is
literally
so
no
cool.
loading for anything you do. Like your loading is like short cutscenes of like Peter changing into to either Peter Parker or to Spider-Man. That's your load scene. It felt like playing a Spider-Man movie. Like I could have just sat back and watched that and been probably just as satisfied. It was so much fun. Swinging through everything, taking pictures of all the landmarks throughout New York City, trying to discover stuff. Like the first thing I did was try to go find the Nintendo World store in New York City, and found it, and it was like a jewelry shop, and it was just kind of funny. But it was there, like the building was there. They just did, I don't know, it was just really cool. The feeling of open worldness and freedom in the city was really good. And just like Spider-Man's mechanics overall felt like Spider-Man, and his witty humor was there. Trash talking to the bad guys while you're fighting them, and like taking phone calls from like Aunt May while you're in the middle of a fight, and Mary Jane and everybody else. It just like I said, it felt like a Spider-Man movie, and it was really, really, really well done. And I need to jump into Miles Morales now because it's just going to be more. And that was something else. Like I didn't go into that game expecting to like play as other characters. I just thought it was Spider-Man. And then you start getting like these stealth missions with Mary Jane, and then stealth missions with Miles, and then like the end scenes where like Miles is like showing Peter he has powers and stuff. It's just so cool. Like I just like how they tied it all together. I don't know. I always have a soft spot for Spider-Man, even if it's like be reviewed, I still watch it and I'm like, I had fun with it. Like it's Spider-Man, it's cool. Like I didn't mind like the Amazing Spider-Man 1, and I don't think I ever saw the second one, but
I think I saw them both.
And then like the Tobey Maguire movies, like one was I loved it, and then the second one I loved even more because it was Dr. Octopus, which was in the game too. So it just kind of like, that was some of my first comics I read were like the Dr. Octopus ones. I had a bunch of them of him being the villain, and so like him being like the center point of the game was really cool. And I don't know, maybe that's why it stuck out so much for me, but the game was awesome. I really enjoyed that. So
Yeah, just Spider-Man's great, and yeah, like you said, they did him justice in capturing his essence. It was such a good game.
It was really, really good, and I should have tried to buy that PS4 bundle a while back, but I will say, like, the PS5 version is, like, you know, I'm sure it runs better with, like, solid state hard drive and all that stuff. So
I don't know if you ever did any fast travel in the game.
I never. Oh, I think I did once. I think there was one time it told me I could fast travel, and I was like, okay, but I never did it after that.
Yeah, I never really did either because I just love swinging
That's
around
exactly
New York
what it was.
so
I
much.
just like going around finding crime.
But I did find it amusing. Like the one time I did, it shows like a short little cutscene of him like on the metro on his phone in his like Spider-Man costume, and other people are just like looking at him. And
I'll have to go back and do it then.
I'm not sure if the PS5 version does that because it loads so quickly though. That's why I was kind of curious.
No, I don't think I ever did the fast travel. Now that you mention it, if it shows anything like that. I think I did it the first time it told me I could do it, but I don't remember anything like that. But like you said, I love swinging through the city and stuff. It just made things like so much enjoyable. And there's so much little stuff to do in the game. Like there's so much more I can go back and do. Like I think even after beating the game, I'm still like 90-something% done with it. But then from like an achievement standpoint, I'm like 20% done with it. So, but I'm not gonna 100% that game. There's just, as much as I enjoyed it, I don't.
Did your copy of Spider-Man come with like DLC also, or? I
guess it came with like everything.
Because I feel like there are like 2 or 3 extra story missions then, if it did come with the DLC.
Yeah. I think it comes with everything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it has everything.
Yeah, because I know there was like a story with like Black Cat.
Yeah, no, I didn't complete that, but it was there.
Yeah, but I think it even goes further than what was in the base game. So
yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at it.
So you might have a good more bit of Spider-Man to play if you want before you jump into Miles.
It's possible, but I did love that game. It was so much fun. Like that's basically I was going back to it every night, and I was like, I'll play another hour. Let's sleep. I'll play another hour. It's okay. And then I forced myself to beat it when I realized I was like really close to the end. I was like, I'm just gonna stay up, and then next thing you know, it's like 2 a.m.
Speaking of which, let's try to wrap this up. It's getting late. All right. So, what number? I think I'm on my number 3. Yeah. All right. My number 3 is a game that was released last year. I picked it up in, I think it was September, and I've been keeping at it pretty strong. It is Ring Fit Adventure. I'm putting as my number 3 game.
Enjoyed that much?
Yeah. I am. I'm actually have a lot of fun playing that every time I boot it up, and I think what amazes me is that as I keep playing it, there's always something new and fun to look forward to in that game. It makes exercising fun in the sense that there's progression and there's always something interesting to like look forward to. It's not so repetitive to the point where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, all right, there's a new stage to go through. There's new enemies to fight here. I just got a new exercise to try, which does more damage. So I'm like now changing up what I'm actually doing. And they have fun mini games and stuff too. You're just, I don't know, the way they gamified exercise, it's really, really cool. And the fact that I'm now 50 plus days into playing this and it is still being kept interesting is kind of amazing. Cool. So, and I don't even know if I'm even close to beating it yet. I feel like there's still several more worlds to go. So,
do you feel like you're getting more endurance throughout playing it? Like, do the exercises feel easier the more you play, or are you getting a sweat, or do you feel exhausted when you're done? How's that going?
So definitely was a sweaty mess the first time I played it. I was like, wow, this is a lot harder than I thought. But surprisingly, as I kept at it, I sweated a little less. I started getting used to it, got a little harder exercises, and then started sweating again. I'm like, okay, there we go. And they also ask you like to set a difficult setting before you start each time, if you want to raise or lower the difficulty. And so I think I started the game at like a 9 or something, and now I'm around 19. I don't know what the number means, but I've like raised it up like 10 times. And I have a feeling that either like probably gives the enemies more health, or maybe increases the number of reps that you need to do per exercise. That's my guess. But yeah, it does like help kind of add more endurance to the training that you're doing, and it's just fun. It's really cool, and I like the ring fit like tool as a controller is really unique and fun to play with, like squeezing and like pulling and doing. They have a lot of variety in the exercises you can do with that one piece of equipment. So
I'm still on the fence about it for myself.
I mean, I'm enjoying the game as much that I even purchased the yoga mat for it. So
there you go. Yeah, I'm still on the fence for it. I was kind of thinking about getting it a while back, especially with like COVID and like I'm not playing hockey anymore, and it would probably make sense to at least do something, because I literally do nothing but sit in this chair all day, which is really, really bad. But you're gonna see like my neck get bigger as this like podcast, each episode we do, it's like I'm getting a little fatter. So, but yeah, no, that's cool, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, it surprised me, and I'm only doing like about 30 minutes a day, maybe like 4 or 5 days a week, so it's not anything too consuming, but it is enough to I'm feeling more toned. I feel good about playing, and I'm having fun doing it. So
all right, so
yeah,
I'll go with my number 2, which it's kind of had a toss up between these next 2 games, but I'm gonna go with number 2 is Half-Life Alyx, and
I was wondering if you're going to change it again at the last minute.
No, I got to go with Half-Life Alyx for number 2. And the reason why I have to go with Half-Life Alyx for number 2 is because it made me sick a lot. But I love Half-Life so much that I forced myself to get through it.
But worth it.
It was so good. Like, I don't know if it was just like the withdrawal of Half-Life over like the last 15 years, but like it was done so well. It throws you right back into the world of Half-Life. It's just so much fun. Like, it's VR, first person shooter VR done the way it should be done. Like, it was just amazing. The way you pick up items felt like real world. Now, granted, I played with an Oculus. I don't know if it would have felt better on like an Index. I do know that the Index, I believe, has a higher refresh rate than the Oculus, so maybe I wouldn't have gotten as sick. But for me, like with VR, if I'm moving at all times within the game, sorry. Ugh.
You're already getting sick just talking about it.
Yeah, I like burp. If I move in the game, it makes me sick. Like if it's just kind of like free motion and I'm not moving. But honestly, like that's the way the game had to be played in a few of the fight scenes in the game, because I just couldn't get away fast enough from like the combine and stuff. And it just felt so good, and like the story was great. The ending was amazing, and I can't talk about it because Patrick hasn't played it yet. But if you've played it and you know the ending, I'm
sure there are many people who haven't played it.
Good. It's so good. and it just makes you want more Half-Life. And that's jumping into this game too. I played before it came out. I played all the Half-Life games. I played Half-Life 1 Source, Half-Life 2, Episode 1, Episode 2, and then Half-Life Alyx was the first game I played after, like, you know, COVID lockdown, because it came out like the week after we were told to work from home forever. So I was kind of like, okay. Like, I have all this time to play.
All right.
So, you know, obviously I didn't get to play till nighttime anyway, but still, it's just like, I was so excited, preloaded the game. But it was everything I could have hoped for. You know, I do a number 2 because of the sickness thing. I think it would have been awesome if it wasn't VR, just so everyone could experience the game. However, it did it so well. Just being in that world, the way that the your ammo reload was all, it felt like you were actually like in the world. Like, you're shooting a gun, it felt like you were shooting a gun. You actually point your hands up at the screen, and your triggers on your VR handles, and then you'd actually like reach behind your back with the other controller, and that's how you're like pulling clips out of your backpack. You'd hit a button on your thing and pull out, like, you have like these pockets on your wrist, and you pull out like a syringe, and you could like, you actually had to like jab it into your body, and like that's how you're giving yourself like your adrenaline or like your health back. And it was just really cool. And like, even like the shotgun, you actually have to like cock it with the other hand. Like, you actually have to like move your hands, and I don't know, it was done so well that all VR, like, that's like the baseline now for VR, in my opinion. Like, it has to meet that expectation. It was so good. So man, Valve just knocked it out of the park with that, and they should make more games. It's so good.
They need to learn to count to 3.
So good.
Yeah, like, the original Half-Life games are already just so immersive with their like visual and audio design. I can only imagine how much more immersive it felt being in VR.
And the puzzles too. Like, they had puzzles where, like, I mean, and once you start playing it, you get into like a groove. There's like puzzles that bring out this, like, you have this multi-tool, you put it in this thing, and it brings out this like virtual like globe in front of you, and you've got to like take things with the other hand and like spin the globe and start like manipulating the path for this stuff to like make the electricity work, or to like unlock that puzzle and stuff. And once you unlock it, you'll get like grenades or health or something like that, because they're supposed to be like locks on these like combine like storage lockers and stuff like that. And then, like I said, there's like, you can follow like electric paths, and then you have to like do that to like fix the circuits and stuff. And so there's like all those puzzle elements as well. But it just feels so natural, like, as you're doing it with your hands. Like, there's never a time where it was like, this sucks, this doesn't feel right, other than getting sick, like, just because I have the motion sickness with VR. But the game just controlled so well, and it was creepy as hell in a couple spots too. Like, there's that, it's like that Half-Life, you know,
the
like
Ravenholm level
and stuff, and everything starts like going white and coming back negative, and things are flipping upside down, and you're like in this hotel, or like you're in this building that's like, you know, well, I guess it is a hotel, but like you're upside down, and you've got to try to like figure stuff out. It's really cool. Like, you're not upside down, but the level's upside down, so everything feels disoriented. But it's done so well.
Imagining what that feels like in VR.
It's just really cool, because you're looking up, and there's like a sofa bolted above you, and like, you know, it's just really, really immersive, and I can't wait for you to play it. Like,
oh man, someday
if your graphics card can support it, I'll give you my Oculus so you can play it, and I'll give you my login.
It can't. That's the issue.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's definitely game of the year
Yeah.
material. I don't know what VGA was thinking.
And like I said, I think the only reason why I don't want to mark it as my number one is because it made me sick. But that's not the game's fault. But I had fun with my number one, so I'll just let you go for your number two real quick so we can.
Number two, it's probably a game people heard me talk about a lot this year. It's a game I've put in 500 hours probably
you have.
or
I looked
more.
at your profile the other day on Switch and was like, oh my god.
And it's a game that hasn't even been out for a full year yet. It is Animal Crossing New Horizons. And it is exactly the game I needed for this year. It is so wonderful. Like, it's just relaxing and happy, and one of the greatest parts about this game is there are just so many little details in this game that you keep discovering throughout the entire year. It's just like a slow burn of just fun and discoveries to uncover. I still remember like the first time I saw it rain in that game, and then I go inside my house and I see like rain sliding down the windows and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Or yeah, or just how like every little neighbor has their own personality. It's like I had this little goat neighbor at one point, and I love how when she goes to sit down and read a book, she'll actually like put on glasses and stuff to read her book. And none of the other characters wear glasses. She doesn't normally wear glasses, but she's like, I have to wear my glasses when I'm reading my book. And I'm just like, they're just all these little touches that are just so charming. I'm just like so endeared to that game and that world. And being able to play with my friends and family has been great, and seeing what they do with their towns. We kind of like inspire each other with creativity, and I think this game pushes the boundaries more so with social integration in a way, because each island kind of has unique pieces of furniture and like color schemes and stuff that can only be obtained through your island, and so it encourages you to share with other people. So, ooh, I really like that color of that piece of furniture, and like, okay, I'll give that to you, and then, oh, I see what you did over there, and it kind of has a kind of like ping pong effect. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I love that game, and I find it so cool how they can continually update this game. It's so different compared to past Animal Crossing games. The fact that they're going to be able to update holidays for like years to come now and change them, how they function, is really cool. So, and yeah, any game that I play for over 500 hours definitely deserves recognition. So
yeah, for sure. I would totally expect that to be in at least your top two. So, as much as you clamored for that game before it came out.
Yeah. If there wasn't this other game that I'll talk about later, it would have been number one for sure. It is my number one actual game released in 2020.
So, and then I can say the same for Half-Life for me, since that was released in March as well. That's pretty much released at the same time.
There you go.
Animal Crossing and Half-Life are pretty much released, because Animal Crossing was April 20th and Half-Life was March 23rd, I think, or something like that. So
something like that.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how that worked out. So I guess I'll go ahead and give my number one then. So my number one game of this year was completely unexpected. I played the game for like an hour last year and then just never touched it again. Picked it back up, loved it, and that game is Luigi's Mansion 3. I had so much fun with that game. I played the second one on 3DS, and I liked it, but I never like beat it. I never got that far. I beat like maybe the first or second boss in the game. So that's kind of why the third one I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, it looks good. I want to play it. I liked the trailers when they showed it. And I just, I was like, oh, it's on Switch. I'll definitely play it more than playing it on 3DS. And So when I finally decided to start playing that this Halloween, I was immediately sucked in. Like, I don't know what it was, but the game, like, it's probably the most gorgeous looking Nintendo Switch game that I've played. Everything in that game is beautiful.
It really is.
Like,
yeah.
the humor in the game is great. The ghosts all have different personalities. Each level is just so much fun. Like, I had so much fun in every floor of that hotel. If there was any complaint, it was sometimes when you thought you were done with the level, because I was trying to find like quick save spots, and then like a mouse or a cat would steal my elevator button. That was kind of annoying. But at the same time, it was great. It was like the story was fun. You're still chasing these things around. I don't know. I just really, really enjoyed that game. I had so much fun playing it. The different boss battles where you're like the
There's some awesome boss
the
battles.
one that you told me about that you really liked, the pirate ship one, was awesome. That was so cool. It was like a movie, to like the point where you're like, you're shooting the plunger so you can hang from the boat as it flips upside down. As it's like
the like dramatic camera angle shifts over, and you're like,
that entire like, and then like that whole like movie set level was really cool.
Oh, the movie
how you're like
really
transferring
cool.
through the TV so you can carry the ice to melt it there, and like find the keys in the different spots, and then light a torch and take it to the other set and burn the spider webs, and like, I don't know, it was just done so well. And then like I 100%ed that one too, because it was just a game that, like, at first I was like, I'm not going to do this. And I was like, nope, I'm going to go find all the gems now, because it's, you know, I didn't beat it again after getting all the gems, though. But I had so much fun with that game. Like, it just really sucked me in. And that's, like, all I wanted to play. As soon as I kind of got hooked, I was like, ooh, what's on that level? And yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't have, like, a lot of crazy stuff to say to make it, like, Game of the Year. I just loved it. It was just a lot of fun.
It was just
super
fun.
fun. Like, it wasn't game changing.
Like, it has so much personality. It just the animation is
awesome.
Like top.
The animation,
top-notch.
like references to like the different scenes throughout the game, like the Godzilla scene in that when you're fighting the bosses there. That was so much fun. The pirate ship thing, the different themes, how every single level had like you're medieval, you're Egyptian, you're in like an Egyptian world now you're in a pirate ship, now you're in the movie studio, you're in just the hotel itself.
Disco, there's sewers, there's so much.
So much fun though, just everything in that game. And like I just found myself like vacuuming up everything. It was so satisfying to just like go around. It's like, ooh, found that. Ooh, found that. And then like when you'd miss some of the stuff, because I did use a guide towards the end to find the last couple gems, and I was just like, oh, how did I miss that? Like I vacuumed everything in this room, but it was like one thing that I didn't do. I don't know.
I also like how it's a very kind of limited move set, but so in a way that's beneficial, because if you're stuck on a puzzle, there aren't too many moves to like narrow down, like, all right, so that's what I wasn't doing. But it has enough of a variety to like make all the puzzles very interesting.
It was really fun though. Like just the way you could interact with so much stuff in the game too. Like you could interact with pretty much everything. Like, and even if like you couldn't do anything, like it would still like react even if you couldn't do anything with it. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. But it was just, I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. Just like little, like that game was like, it's like the only Nintendo game that has like achievements too built into it, which is kind of interesting.
That's just
because like you'd kick the ball into the hole and it's like hole in one, like little stuff like that, like the little golf thing. And Yeah, like the level with the plant, like the giant plant that's going up, like it's cool.
Yeah.
Like you're climbing like this Jack and the Beanstalk style thing that's just like overgrown the hotel, and I don't know, it was so much fun. The whole world, like, and then like having to backtrack to go back to those worlds to find like the cat that steals your button and runs away, and stuff was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the game, and
Feast on Resistance that puts it over the top for Chad. They use the Virtual Boy for their menu.
Virtual Boy, it's so cool. That was so cool. I totally forgot about that too after the first time I played it. So when I fired it up this time, I was like, the Virtual Boo. I forgot about that. It's so cool. Like, and that makes me like when Nintendo does stuff like that, it makes me want to like. It's like, why haven't you given us these games? Like,
you
remember exactly. Like, give me Wario Land again on 3DS, and I'll play my 3DS. But
or make it playable on only Labo VR.
Yeah,
do it.
It'd been great. but yeah, that's I think those are my top 5 games for 2020. Like, I think a pretty solid list. To recap, we have Luigi at number 1, Half-Life Alyx at number 2, Spider-Man Remaster at number 3, Astro's Playroom at number 4, and Paper Mario 64 for number 5. So that's
Very nice.
That's
Very
what
nice.
I think I'm gonna stick with. At least at this point.
All right. I guess I have to get to my number 1 here real quick.
We have like a 3-hour-long podcast tonight.
Oh God. Well, this will probably take a while to post this episode, but we'll get it out before the end of the year.
Because this is the one I've been trying to get you to do forever.
Yes, I'm sure you're gonna have stuff to talk about this game too. But yes, Chad is gonna trying to get me to play this game forever, and I don't know what perfect storm got me in the mood to play this. The timing was right. It was finally time to get down into it, and it was Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger. It's not only my game of the year, it is probably one of my top 10 favorite games I've ever played. It is that good. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to begin with this. Like, that game is so imaginative and just so creative in its design decisions. It feels truly ahead of its time. The way it integrates time travel is just so cool. It's so cool. And then how you travel back and forth between time to like solve events is just amazing. To like influence past decisions, how the game like actually tracks your decisions, like in the festival, and then that court case. It's so cool. I forgot about
that. Yeah, the court case is awesome. I love that.
Court case is awesome. I love how there's like one time travel where like you have a family of just like jerks, and then you go into the past and teach them how to be generous, and then you get an item that you need by like those actions that you did from the past. It's just so crazy.
The game's amazing, man.
Yeah, the game it has a fantastic like sense of humor too. I love it so much how some of the time gates are like in wardrobe closets, and then you're just like falling off the edge of a cliff, or the characters are all so memorable. It's like so difficult to actually choose your party because you actually love every single character in that game.
And then they each have their own combos that they learn with each other and stuff. And
yeah, the way they interact with each other.
Techniques.
The multi moves. Yeah, that is so cool. And it makes you want to experiment with every character and find those combos. So cool. The music is amazing. I could like hum any soundtrack in that game. It's so good.
That alone, like, I'm gonna let you gush still, but like, literally, like, that game hooked me as a kid playing the Millennial Fair area. Like, my friend came over and showed me the game, and we played the Millennial Fair, getting the silver points and getting the cat food and all that stuff, and like fighting the rapping robot Gato up in the left corner, and like I was hooked. I was like, this game's so interesting. Like, there's just so much going on in this one little like intro world. Like, there's just so much to do, like betting on the race and like,
Yeah.
and then like as soon as like the whole like, you know, princess scene happens when you meet her, and you don't know she's the princess, but then as soon as she disappears, like as soon as like the whole time travel thing happens, I was just like, I have to know what happens. Like, the game just did such a good job at sucking you into that story. Like, I don't know, it just hooked me in immediately. And
yeah, the story is so captivating, and like the pacing is perfect. It just keeps pulling you along, and you just want to keep know what happens next, what's next, and how just like the whole overall theme of this like end of the world threat, and like slowly unraveling layers of it. Like, ooh, this actually goes one layer deeper. Oh, it's actually one layer
because your
deeper.
first thing is like, you kind of think that it's just like the chancellor's trying to like take over the kingdom, you know, like that's kind of like,
yeah, you think it's like a very simple plot, and then you like all of a sudden go to the future, and you're like, what happened to this world?
yeah,
Like,
it just everything just gets crazy in that game. It's then they have that mode 7 futuristic racing across the future world. I know you love that. That's probably like the least. That's probably the biggest part of the game. Right there. I remember losing to that a few times, and I was like, "Come on!" And but they show off mode 7 pretty nice in that. But yeah.
Oh man, I forget what I was gonna say. There's so much I can say about this game. I don't know. Like, the combat is just so good. Like, I'm not a fan of typical like turn-based combat, but this is such a unique system of how it works. It's so cool how like the little timing gauges and like lining up moves, you get like into such a rhythm playing this. It is a really fun.
I love the techniques, like the dual and triple techniques that you learn with people. It's just so cool. Like, just because like you can like fully restore your health and ether as well, like with Robot or Robo and you know, any of the other characters. There's like the revive techniques, then you've got the like crucial attack techniques, and like, I don't know, it's so much fun. It's
and the fact that there are like so many interesting story beats and like decisions to make too, like that could actually change how the game plays or what happens, like multiple endings, optional characters to get, just split story paths that lead to like different items and stuff. It's so interesting. It makes every playthrough feel so unique. This game is legendary. It is amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, like, I remember playing it when it came out, because my friend had it, and I have no idea how he heard about it, but I know he loved like Final Fantasy and stuff back then, so I'm sure that's why he got it. And you know, I always loved it, thought it was great, but I always thought of it as like an underground gem, you know, game that, like, you know, before I got like big into like retro gaming and stuff, was going like, oh yeah, I played this game Chrono Trigger, it was awesome. And then like you start seeing more and more about it, and it's like, no, like anyone who's ever played this game knows this is like the greatest RPG ever. like every RPG aspires to be what that game was in 1995.
That's the craziest part. This game came out way back then, and it is still like the pinnacle. Like, it's hard to think of what game could top this.
I personally don't like. I don't know what I would improve in it, honestly, other than having to like refight some enemies when you go back to like scenes. You know what I mean? Like if I had to change anything in that game, like I don't like having to refight like some bosses or some enemies, and you can't like skip them. You can't skip the battles. So if it had like a mixture of that like Earthbound element in it, it would have been cool. It'd be cool, nice, just to make it a little faster, but at the same time, most of those fights aren't horrible because you usually kill those those extra guys in 1 or 2 hits, and then you're on your way. But
it'd feel like extra empowering if you could just be like, we're not even entering this battle.
Yeah, that would be my only like change to the game, but.
Or if you could see them like actually run away or something, be like, get out of here.
Instead of like the.
I could almost see that like fitting really well with the style if the enemies like actually freaked out, because the animation.
Yeah, everything has an expression. Like, when they get hit, they all like do a little like, a little bounce or something, and then like even like Chrono has like multiple emotes and stuff, and.
Yeah, he's surprisingly expressive for a game of that
dancing
time.
And like all sorts of stuff. Like it's the game's amazing. And I'm so glad you finally played it.
You're making me want to play it again.
And I enjoyed watching you play it too. Like since you streamed that whole thing on our channel, and it was great to sit down and watch you play. Because then I felt like I played it again too. Because there was so much I remembered, but then there was like. So much that I forgot too, like the order of things, if you will. Kind of forgot, like when things happen. I remember telling you a few times, like, no, I think you have to do this against this guy, and like no, you should have gone that way.
But yeah. So for anyone listening, if you have not played this game, play it. It's worth it. If you're curious about it, you can watch our playthrough. It's a 10-part series. Watch as much as you want until you're convinced to play it, and then go play it and love it, and you're welcome. I'm not one of those people.
It's good. Solid number 1. You should play it every year.
Yes. So just to go through my top 5, number 5 was Usher's Playroom. 4 is Picross, 3 Ring Fit Adventure, 2 Animal Crossing New Horizons, and number 1 Chrono Trigger.
So good. So, well, that's gonna wrap up this edition of 2020. This year.
Conclusion.
This year, 2020.
This year that went too long, just like this podcast.
So. We will be back with an episode next year. Don't know when. We'll see what news we get between now and then. See what games we'll have to play. Got lots of stuff to play, as usual.
Hopefully Nintendo will drop a nice meaty real direct sometime soon, so we know more than just Mario 3D
there's
World.
Gotta be something in the kitchen that we haven't got yet. So, but yeah, so hope your 2021 is better than your 2020. Hopefully we start moving towards a more normal world with vaccines and all that good stuff.
2021's gonna be great. We're gonna get vaccines. We're gonna get Breath of the Wild 2. We're gonna get
Switch
Silk
Pro.
Song.
We're gonna get Switch Pro. That's coming
Switch
March.
Pro next year. All next year.
You heard it here first.
I say Metroid Prime, but
they haven't even started that game yet. They're still hiring like a new production.
Retro's still hiring, yeah.
So, but yeah, so stay safe. The world's not going to be back to itself until at least somewhat normal. Probably until at least next winter would be my guess, but we'll see how it goes. And
as long as Lavos doesn't crash into our Earth before the end of the year, we'll catch you guys next year.
So, until then,
I'd be okay with that if that happened. If the Earth is gonna die, at least make it something
as long as the music was like dun 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 dun.
It is totally gonna be the credits music now.
So. Play your backlog until new stuff gets released. We know Mario 3D World is being re-released. We'll have that new Bowser chapter for that. But until then, everybody.
Happy gaming, everybody.
Happy New Year. See you guys later.